fighting for freedom. We are fighting for freedom.
To President Bobi, on behalf of the people of Uganda, I am challenging you to a free and fair election.
This is a message to the government.
I met Bobi at university. I didn't know he was a musician. He was different.
We are fighting for freedom.
I didn't have so many dreams. She impacted my life. She made me realize we had to impact other lives. I've come to Parliament and taken an oath to protect the Constitution of Uganda.
Somebody had to speak for us. People thought I had the loudest voice.
We are fighting for freedom. Again, one more confident time.
This year's presidential election could see 71-year-old President Museveni serve a fifth term in office.
No leader has ever handed over power peacefully. This is a military regime dressed in a civil facade.
We have the Honorable Bobi Wine with us.
As a matter of fact, I would now agree with
Why is my husband held in a military barracks? If I could see him, then I would know what I am actually doing.
We thank the people of Uganda that's missing, that include comrades like Chibalama and many others. We thank the people of Uganda that have relentlessly demanded for those people. We want to thank our parliamentary team led by the noble Honorable Matthias Mpuga for pushing so hard on that line. As you have noticed, the regime is at crossroads. You saw Madame Wangadia dismissing the issue and also complaining that we have refused to take this issue out of the media, out of public domain. We shall not stop. We want our people back. You also saw that in its desperate attempt to divert us, the regime, through their RDC in Kayunga, paraded a fake Martin Lukwago, claiming that Martin Lukwago, who has been missing for more than a year, had shown up. Of course, the wife of Martin Lukwago and the children dismissed this fake man. That was not Martin Lukwago. The regime fell flat on their face. We are informed that they are holding on to that man, but the same thing, the same story, as all of you remember, that the military spokesperson presented a man that was burnt, but this time having compromised him to lie that we are the ones who burnt him. We continue to demand for our people. And yes, it is for that reason that we have been moving the world over, calling upon all allies of Uganda in the West to take this gross human rights violation very serious. Thank you very much, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, just to remind you, we have the opportunity to document gross human rights violations that happened before, during, and after the 2021 election. And yes, we have a film, a documentary film, that's showing the real picture of Uganda to the international community. Not only that, but we have been knocking on various doors, demanding that the United States, the European Union, and all these other democracies across the world stop dealing with General Museveni as if they're dealing with a legitimate leader. We have singled out those regime people. The high-ranking was sanctioned. Now these sanctions, what do they mean? These people steal money, taxpayers' money from Uganda, and they are rich, they invest this money abroad. That's where they go for medical treatment, that's where they take their children for all that they need. And yes, they treat Uganda as a cemetery. But gladly with these sanctions, they and their families are sanctioned. They are not only blocked from traveling to those countries, but also their wealth is confiscated. On that list, there are notorious human rights violators like one Christopher Damolida. Most of you that have been arrested and taken to CMI, you know the role that Christopher Damolida is playing in abducting and murdering our people. So we know that on that list, we have Christopher Damolida, we have people like Lugumayo, we have people like Namanya Napoleon, and all top and middle level, officers in Museveni's government. We are focusing on them, and we are calling on the international community to sanction these people. Probably when they know that there are repercussions for their actions, they will stop these gross human rights violations. Ladies and gentlemen, another issue I want to address is the recently passed supplementary budget. The regime pushed through their majority in parliament for an additional 3.5 trillion shillings. Now what is this money for? This money is going to be spent on laughable things, among which are 2.7 billion for supervising the Ghost Lubowa Hospital project. All of you know so much of our money has been stolen through that fake non-existent project. But as if that's not enough, there has been 2.7 million given to supervise that project that you all know does not exist. There is 45 billion shillings put aside to buy a banana peeling machine. 45 billion shillings. There is 30 billion shillings put aside to help artists and musicians. Now, I am an artist, and I'm not only knowledgeable but concerned in this area. I know that we as the entertainment industry, we need support, but the support is not handouts. We need the policies that will make even the artists in Kabongo, in Kavera Maido, in Gomba, in Rushede, to benefit from a good system, not handouts. I've told my fellow artists time and again that they should not be reduced to beggars. But many of them were arguing that I am bringing politics into music. And they are saying that we should separate music and politics. I want to reiterate my points again, that politics, among other things, is concerned with slicing the taxpayers' money and apportioning it to different things. So this is how taxpayers' money is being apportioned. Artists have been demanding for a copyright law that will make sure we have policies that will protect artists, not giving them money. But this time around, because General Museveni believes in, patronage, he believes in bribing, he has put that money aside, which money I am even sure is not going to reach the artists. The artists are only being used to steal money. And before long, you will see fights in the industry, you will see divisions in the industry, and yes, you will see so many of them silenced and compromised to support the regime because they will have committed crimes relating to corruption. Now, that is not the problem. The problem is here. First, there's a problem that out of that 3.5 trillion, 418 billion is going to Museveni's house. Now, this is a man that is already spending 2 billion shillings every day. However, that is not enough. Museveni needs another 418 billion to spend some more. Now, an even bigger problem comes here. On top of the 3.5 trillion, there was an addendum of 55 billion. Now this sounds like a scandal, and it was important that I communicated to you, ladies and gentlemen. You remember that in the past supplementary budget last year over 77 billion, members of parliament were each bribed with 40 million shillings. Many of them denied it, but yes, some of them actually spoke the truth. that were given that money. This time they are giving every member of parliament 100 million shillings as a bribe to pass that supplementary. Let me repeat it for clarity. This time the regime is bribing every member of parliament with 100 million shillings of taxpayers' money in order to pass this supplementary budget. Now imagine 55 billion shillings just going out to members of parliament as a bribe. I want to use this opportunity to warn our members of parliament that we know about this and we have broken the news to the population. I have said it many times and I'm saying it today that I will always tell the truth and I will not defend or protect anybody that gets involved in this grand theft. We'll get details and maybe among questions. I'm very glad to have our Minister for Finance here, and it will be a great thing if we would get an opportunity to answer a few questions from you. But with that state of affairs, with the way our taxpayers' money is used, now you know, ladies and gentlemen, why our roads are in such a bad state. Now you know why our schools are in such a state. Now you know why the regime is trying to silence us. Now you know why the regime is trying to bring all manner of diversions in order to cover up for that. Now finally, ladies and gentlemen, I also want to take this opportunity to respond to the deliberate twisting of my comments during a BBC interview that I had in London. It's the same Museveni that tries to hook on our morality and on the children and to say it's in protection of children, but you all know that in the